don't watch that, there's going to be a few things in Phase 4 that's going to really throw you for a loop.
That's true. Hey, everybody! Welcome to My Get Podcast. We're live. We're just doing some welcomes. You see, I watched Buzz's face as I said that. He was like, ah! Drinking water. He was like, oh my God! He didn't give me a countdown or anything.
I know, just
what are we doing? Yeah, I was like, oh, here's the time. I guess it's time to do this. So we're doing it. How is everyone doing today? I hope you're well. We've got the wonderful folks from the What the Funk podcast with us today. You'll get full intros momentarily. So just chill your tits. All right, we'll get there. It's going to be fine.
They're well chilled. It's cold outside, so.
Yeah, is it cold? It's cold over in your neck. Yeah, you guys roughly have the same kind of, maybe not. You're more north than we are, but still. Nothing like starting this off by talking about the weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep.
This small talk.
You thought this would be nerve-wracking.
I might be a touch warmer.
Okay.
Just a touch.
All right. Nice. Is that something in your neck of the woods also? Like if you start off a conversation making small talk about weather, people are like, what are we doing? Like, why are we having this conversation? Because that's really big. I mastered that when I worked at a hotel. It was people like, they come in and it's just, you know, I worked at the front desk and I'd be like, hi, welcome. And I'm just trying to make small talk. And it was always like, whoa, wow, we came here from Nebraska. It really is the Windy City. I was like, it's not why it's called the Windy City, but sure, whatever. Yeah. What's it like
Chicago,
where you are?
the Windy City.
Yep. That's what Chicago's called, the Windy City. But it's not because it's windy. It's because back when they held the World's Fair in the early 1900s, Chicago was talking itself up so much to become the location, to become the spot for it to host it. Everyone's like, oh man, a bunch of windbags over there. That's why they called it the Windy City.
It just happens to be a happy coincidence that it's also a giant wind tunnel here.
It is. It's incredibly just, man, you turn a corner and just, it gets you. Gets you hard. Yeah.
I like to, for my day job, I work in a software support. And when I first started there, I was on the front lines. I would answer the phones for anyone that had issues. And my game was always, as I was, you know, at some point in the call, it would end up where I had to do something and I just needed them to stop talking to me. So I would stop talking. We would sit in silence. And I had a game to see how long they would go, so what part of the country are you in? What's the weather like out there? Every single time I would get asked that. I'm like, you fuck.
People, I mean, to be honest, silence is scary to a lot of people.
Viruses. Fuck you.
And that's actually why I started paying attention to sports, is because like I would latch on anything to try and like help these people. It's just like, man, those Bears, huh? Whoo!
To hear Doug and I bullshit our way through a sports conversation I have to admit, it's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
You know zero about sports.
Yeah, I mean,
like Rolo then. Rolo knows nothing about sports.
Perfect.
Way to go.
I don't know much about rugby. I don't follow cricket. Badminton's way out the question. Table tennis.
All the sports you could think of, you go to badminton.
I was like, okay, cool. Not tennis, but badminton. All right, cool. We're going there. You know,
golf, Formula One, badminton.
I don't really know much about Formula One either.
I know. They do more than just turn left. I know that much. They turn a lot of different ways. Unlike NASCAR, which is just turn left around the circle. That's what they do.
NASCAR looks way more fun, though.
I mean, in a lot of ways it is.
Direction for a laugh.
I mean, for a while there were some folks that were really angry about certain tracks down in Texas because they wouldn't let them bring in coolers anymore. And they were like, listen here, you sons of bitches. I'm calling for a boycott of the Texas roadway because they won't let us bring in our goddamn coolers. And then what are they going to do? Charge us $15 for a Miller Lite? This is bullshit. And they were really upset about that. They had a real hard problem with it. So I would have zero interest in going to any of those. But, you know, it's interesting. Nah, it's not. Not to me. But I respect the people that drive because I can't drive like that at all. Not even if I wanted to.
I can't drive.
Can't or won't?
Both.
You know what? I respect it because I also don't like driving.
Too angry. Like, just... Like give way, and they don't wait for you to come through any shows. They drive. I put my foot down. I'd smack, rolling in my insurance company. So what happened today? Well, he wouldn't wait. So now he's upside down in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
I'd be terrible.
You'd think for someone who takes so many baths, you'd be way more relaxed.
Oh, sorry. I'm Welsh.
I'm Welsh. That's
Welsh don't relax. I'm always on edge in Wales.
perfect.
That's why I wear shorts, just in case I have to run.
Wait,
Or
what?
That's also why you're bald, for aerodynamics.
Exactly, Rolo. Exactly.
Okay. There we go.
No wind resistance.
Well, I think we're looking good. We're sounding good. I think it's time to get this here show on the road. Y'all ready? All right.
Ready as ever be,
Here we go.
I think.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And we have a trifecta of guests joining us today. Coming from the What the Funk podcast all the way over in the UK and elsewhere around the world, we have Buzz, Rolo, and Val. Welcome!
Hello!
All right, kids, go back in the closet now. Thank you. Welcome to the show. How y'all doing today?
Good. Very good.
Good,
Glad
good.
to be here.
I did.
We're excited. So glad that you're here, and I just want to thank you for inviting us to be on your podcast recently as well. It was a real joy. Justin was able to make it. Justin had a blast listening, and I had a real joy being on there. So if you all haven't heard that one, go check that out on Spotify right now. Just look for What the Funk, WTF, question mark, exclamation point. That's exactly how it's done.
Exactly that.
So yes, we're so excited to have you here. We got some good stuff to talk about. Before we get started, gonna get through a little bit of housekeeping right off the top. Gonna get it done so that we can get to the fun stuff. So first things first, if you don't know already, we do have a Patreon. Check us out at patreon.com/mindgappodcast. If you feel like supporting us, please do so there. You get some cool little treats and tidbits. Most importantly, you get shout-outs, like to these folks who are supporters. Mr. Wolfslore, Richie Armour from the You Haven't Heard This Music podcast, Zinni, Slotty, and Almighty Crit. Thank you all for supporting us. We appreciate you. Also, if you would like to get to know us and our community way more, check out our Discord server. The link is in the description down below in the on YouTube. Meet up with all sorts of cool people like Zinni, like Slotty, like Wolfslore, like Noah. Hang out with us, play some games, join us for our video game streams. We'd love to have you there. You can check out our merch on redbubble.com. And then last but not least, we stream live almost every Tuesday and Saturday. Today we're streaming on a Sunday because it's worked out schedule-wise. But check us out on youtube.com/mindgappodcast where we post all of our good stuff. We do our live streams there. And if you like and you want to support us there, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It means the world to us. All right, enough about us. You know who we are. Let's talk about you all. First things first, please tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow you, and a little bit about your podcast.
Where to begin? We used to be on Twitch. Now we're on YouTube. Just search for What the Funk on YouTube. We're on Twitter, official What the Funk Pod, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called now. And we also have a Patreon, What the Funk on them all. So we have a link tree on the Twitter page, which takes them all because there's just so many links to go through that trying to put them all in one place just was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare.
Nice. And do you have individual social medias you want anybody to follow? It's fine if you don't. I don't promote mine because I don't do shit on mine.
Mine's just at I'm Buzz Christmas. I tweet absolute random garbage pretty much daily. Rolo doesn't know how to use Twitter.
Good for you.
But he has it. He doesn't use it.
limits_Rolo. If you want to follow me on there, I don't really use it that much. So.
And Val has hers. And she looks after the Twitter one for the podcast as well. Which is brilliant.
Yeah, and I can't remember Twitch name. It's something.
Fair enough.
Something.
Fair enough.
It should be just at Valkyrie.
Nice. Yeah, I don't. It's taken me years to. I wouldn't even say I figured it out. I am using it, and for the longest time I didn't know. Like Twitter was there, and I just remembered when Justin and I worked together. I just get so angry. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how to use it. I don't get it. And Justin was like, Doug, because at the time I used a lot of Facebook. That's what I was used to, and Twitter just seemed so foreign, and it really is. I was like,
we were all using at the time. It was just Facebook. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't get this. I don't understand how this works. And he's just like, it's disposable. You send a message out there and it kind of goes. Because I was always used to like, I got to get caught up with my timeline on Facebook. I'm like, there's just too much information. And Justin's like, you don't get caught up.
Well, I didn't realize that it was Drew, my filmmaking partner Drew, who told me that, because he was all in on Twitter from the jump and using it well. And I was just like, how do you? Same as Doug. I would log in. I'm like, this just pisses me off when I get in here. I feel like a Welshman. It pisses me off all the time when I'm in. And he's like,
hold on. This happened the other day with Rolo attacking me, and it happens in Cat Stream daily, which he calls me bald. He talked about me being Welsh is because I'm Welsh, and I was here. What's going on?
I'm just saying, I love.
Listen, there's just two factual things that have been said. You're Welsh and you're bald. Those are facts.
Yeah, but I'm not angry because I'm Welsh.
I'm not angry because I'm Welsh.
I'm angry as a Welshman.
I've never
heard that. Storm out, I would. I can't be bothered.
I think based off Ancestry.com, I'm pretty sure I've got some Welsh in me, so I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. We'll clear it.
Not Buzz.
I'll allow it.
And I would like to point out that, Buzz, you did start it saying that Welsh people are very on edge.
Fair.
Like
I don't remember this, but Val never is wrong, so I'll accept it.
Well, I also think that just by you getting angry that I said that just kind of reaffirms your points.
I mean, these are facts.
But anyway,
yes.
I used to get angry with Twitter too. But then Drew said, he goes, it's disposable. You're never going to get caught up. So stop trying. And just when you log in, look at what's there and then be done with it. And I was like, oh, that changes the game.
Yeah. And even then I was just like, what are hashtags? Like, I didn't understand them. And the most fun I ever had, we've told the story before, is like, for a hot second, we were just we were doing something on there. There was some hashtag that was going, and I just created some little narrative about asking or trying to check in with someone. It was like a doctor or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but I was like pretending that I was working at some sort of science facility, and that I kept asking questions. I'm like, hey, are these creatures supposed to be doing this? Uh-oh, they're doing this. They're on fire. Oh my God, this place is burning down. I was like, ooh, I realized this is not the place to be posting this. My apologies. Like, I just made up some scenario and I just had fun with it. Like, was just posting random shit in there. And that was like the most I've ever done on my personal Twitter. Now it's just retweets from whatever MindGap's doing. That's all I ever do on it, because I don't care. I don't care about Twitter. There's just...
Have you guys gotten on TikTok yet with What the Funk?
No, I'm on TikTok. Rolo won't allow the podcast to go on it because he hates it.
Hey, Justin.
I hate TikTok.
What do you hate about it?
It's just pathetic. It's pointless.
Wow.
I feel Welsh right now. It's fucking stupid.
What about it don't you like? Is it the fact that it's
just, I don't want to be like, I don't want to anger people or put people off or anything like that. But
Rolo, that will never happen here. Okay.
It's just full of young people. It's just doing stupid stuff, and they get like, especially like, what's his name, Bryce Hall, for example. Mm-hmm. He does a dance video and gets paid thousands and millions for standing there and doing nothing, and he hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Do you know what I mean?
I don't like it, but recently I did create a MindGap account there. So just because I'm like, well, for the sake of just putting our stuff out there and having people, I don't think it's our demographic at all. Our stuff doesn't get a ton of views, but I'm like, whatever. I don't engage a whole lot on there either, because I told Justin I was doing it, and Justin's like, I don't even want to know the login, man. You got this. I was like, that's cool. Yeah, I get it. It's definitely not my cup of tea. It's kind of like Reels on Instagram. Like, I don't know. It seems very I don't know. It's not my speed. It's not my jam. I get why people like it, but I'm like, I mean, a poster shorts there and things like that, just in case people want to see what we do, and maybe we can pull some more viewership into what we're doing. But I like creating the content. I love creating shorts from the stuff that we do. But outside of that, I'm like, I'm not on TikTok all the time being like, oh, what's next? You don't find me sitting on the toilet just scrolling through TikTok. It's not going to happen.
Doug's not doing the hottest new dance and everything.
Jill, damn her, she was like, there's the whole like trend right now is people doing that song from, I think, Celine Dion or whatever, where it's people are just being like super dramatic with it. Like they have like a simple outfit or whatever, and then like there's a snap and they're in this big gown and there's people behind them using lights and stuff like that. She's like, Doug, you should totally do that. And a part of me, the performer side of me, is like, I totally could do that. and pull that off. But I was like, I also don't want to do that because
that's the first step to getting sucked into that.
I don't want to do that because I don't want to continually be like, where's the next one? I'm like, there was one and that was it. Like, watch our podcast. That's what I'm doing.
Buzz, what are you posting on there?
So when I first started doing it, it was like stream clips when I used to stream.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just stopped using it completely. And then when I had a Discord, Val had her own channel in it where she used to post like daily facts. And I started posting them on there, just words with pictures in the background. And I did that for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then got bored. And like as of recently, I'm literally just scrolling through, and when there's like a filter you can use where you hold it down and it does something above your head, I just started doing them.
Okay.
Like it told me I had 7 seconds to take off a piece of clothing, so I took my sock off, and it's just stuff like that. When one pops up, I'll just press because I haven't got to get up, I haven't got to do anything. I just press the button, does it for me, and then it's like, oh, there we go, done.
Yeah, look at
I'm
you. You're
very
the
lazy
Sorting
with it.
Hat from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I
Very
did
good.
that. You were looking at my TikTok.
I am. Right now in 2022, I will. Let's see what it say. What does it say? Stop smoking. Good. Yeah?
I don't smoke.
You did it! Victory!
Well
Way to
done.
go.
Wait, here.
Nailed
Good
it.
job.
It was
This guy's
so easy.
killing
I
it.
don't know what people complain about. It was just so simple. I just didn't do it.
Right?
Win.
Just stop doing it, right? Just don't do it at all. I like it. Yeah, okay. All right. I
So
respect it.
Buzz, by all means, do a TikTok. Just don't tell me about it. Just don't tell me the login.
I can't be bothered, Rolo.
Just don't
I've got to look after the YouTube and the Spotify and the Apple thing, and I got to make the videos. So can't be asked. You do it.
Yeah, there you go, Rolo. You're in charge of TikTok now. Congratulations.
Yeah, because you hate it so much. You do
I was
it.
gonna say, you might be able to get a decent sized following. It's just like the angry guy on TikTok who yells about TikTok.
Reacted to things. What the fuck are you doing? Stop being an idiot.
Dude, reaction videos, absolutely. You could blow
Do it,
up on
Rolo.
that.
Do it.
And then you could be paid thousands or millions of dollars. I mean, and then
Pounds,
you could get
Justin,
mad at
pounds.
yourself.
God,
That's
be
meta.
sensitive, all right? Be sensitive to our audience here, okay?
Oh, sorry.
It's probably hundreds of thousands of pounds because their currency is stronger.
Your
than ours,
Majesty's
okay?
sterling.
Yeah. Bambi Christmas says they'll do it. So there you go. You got
Should
some
do
tickets.
anything.
Yeah.
Should do anything for money.
No, there's one of my favorite podcasts is your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and Christina P. And one of the things they really do is like Christina will curate the weird side of TikTok. And some of the things she just really seems to grab, the algorithm, of course, just sends her the weirdest stuff now. It's just people being like, "Hi, it's Sunday, January 16th. It's pretty chilly out there today, so just make sure that you put on a coat and you're staying warm." And it's just like the most mundane stuff. And so they have someone on their staff do once a month post something to Instagram that is based on those themes of what they're seeing on TikTok, and he just gets tens of thousands of views because he doesn't want to do it, so he doesn't have a lot of enthusiasm, and B, he's checking all these boxes, so people are just like swarming and like watching him do it. He's like, I hate it. They're like, hey, it's about time for your monthly post. He's like, all right,
Do it, Rolo.
I'll do it.
Do it.
At the end of this podcast, we're going to have Rolo signed up for a TikTok, and he's going to be,
I'm doing it now.
There you go. He's locked up and he's ready to go. So speaking of people that are of note and have notoriety, everyone's favorite Logan Paul.
Sorry. Every time we say his name, that's happening. I'm just warning you right now.
I thought that was one of us. I panicked then, thinking, was that me?
Is that me?
Did I do that? I know I've eaten a lot today, but shit.
See, Val, I warned you that we had a fart soundboard, so there you go. It's in.
Yep.
Yep. It's true. What I loved about that is Buzz goes, I thought it was one of us and that you included yourself in that. Like you didn't know that it could have been you. You're like, I don't know. But yeah.
It happens regularly. Sometimes I'll be sitting there smelling something. Did I do that?
Did I do that? That's nice.
I ask everyone in the room. They're like, no, so it must have been me then. Old age.
There you go.
So you don't give egg cups out then, no?
Egg cups. What are those?
Egg cups? No, you've had a Dutch oven, haven't you? Dutch oven where you under the covers.
Yeah.
But this time, an egg cup is where you fart in your hand and throw it at people.
There it is.
I did that the other night to Bambi. I did it in bed and I gripped her in a headlock and put the sheet over us. She fell off.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what love is, this is what love is right here.
That's it.
Love.
Just grabbed
So we were
it.
laying in bed.
She
and
hated
I
it.
Put my arm around her, farted in my hand, and threw it right in her face. That's love. Baby.
Wow. Dear Justin, I'm having trouble in my marriage. How do I increase my intimacy?
Well, let me tell you, if you're in bed, dear penthouse.
Bambi in the chat goes with an angry face. He did.
I did, yeah. I did.
I mean, if we're being, if we're making confessions here, I have a rule. A rule in my house is that if I fart in the middle of the night, I have to try and aim it outside the covers, because if I can remember, because otherwise I trap it. I woke up Jill one night because I farted on the covers and she moved at one point and moved the covers, and then she was just like, it like woke her up, and I always felt really, really bad about it. So now I try to be, if I can, be conscious about it.
Now Doug's like Hawkeye with his farts now.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
trick
The
shots.
flicking, the flicking thing.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
it's trick shots and everything like that.
You should embrace that. You should embrace it. Just let it go. Just embrace. Just take the methane in. Just
Better
I like
if your
it,
nose
Rolo.
than the ozone layer.
Yeah, I love it. So speaking of farts, Logan Paul purchased a $3.5 million box of Pokemon cards, and he was all excited about it. He showed them off, and some people were like, "Hey, man, are you sure those are legit? You should probably get them checked out." And he went and got them verified. And it turns out that he got a bunch of G.I. Joe junk cards
It's all that.
in this box, which I don't know much about Pokemon. I know it's a big deal. Lots of folks like it. I've said it before. I think I just missed the craze when I was young. I was just old enough where I'm like, that's dumb. I'm not playing that game. But if I would have been 1 year younger, I would have been all over it. So I completely missed it. I'm aware it exists. I understand that it's, you capture animals and you set them to fight each other to the death. So it sounds like a real cool. And of course, people would be like, technically, Doug, the animals, it's all about they have their own agency and they decide whether or not to go in the Pokeballs. So if they don't want to go in, they don't want to. So it's not actually like pit fighting with animals. I'm like, okay, whatever you have to tell yourself. You monsters.
Pokemon's lives matter. Just have a protest and a march about it now.
Yeah, exactly. But I know that like there's like any sort of deck building games, there's a price involved, and you can find the rare cards and all sorts of stuff like this. So, but he apparently purchased these and then found out that why you spend $3.5. First of all, the guy has $3.5 million to burn on Pokemon cards, which is just like talk about a
I
gut
don't know
punch.
what the most infuriating part of this story is for me, but that piece of it is definitely near the top.
Can I start you off there?
Please.
The most infuriating part is the fact of Logan Paul. There's the starting point.
Oh, well, hang on. I'm going to disagree with you there. He used to be an absolute tool. But now I've got like a change of respect for him recently just because he seems more sensible. His brother, however, if I ever met him, I'd probably beat him up more than the MMA guys he's fought have.
So you wouldn't give him a Dutch oven?
No, I'd just bury him, I hope, because he's so fucking annoying. Logan, I don't mind. Jake, I can't. I just can't. Yeah, he's a runny shit, he is. Absolute runny shit.
Justin, you got one of those?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
There it is.
Oh, that's Logan
There you
Paul
go.
every time he talks.
There you
Every time.
Every time. Man, I've never, I used to be back in the day really big into YouTube and following all the YouTubers and the whole craze, like right when the big vlogging wave came, and he was not too far after the initial vlogging wave, and I just couldn't stand him or his brother, and I was like, these two are going to be, they signify the downfall of this platform, and it just got started, and of course I'm being hyperbolic, but like he's just the fucking worst. He and his brother are just the fucking worst. So much he's worse than your like Bachelor, the reality shows that just are mindless, gut-wrenching TV. They're worse than that, in my opinion. And the fact that they've made such a name for themselves is infuriating. And the fact that he can drop fucking $3.5 million. Now, the bigger thing is I don't trust him. I think this might be a giant PR thing. I don't know if he actually did spend that money. Did he actually buy these? Or is this just another thing for him to get more clicks?
I mean, he took what happened and turned it into a 7-minute YouTube video. So,
and how many views does that have?
I mean, I don't know. Let's see if we can find out. Let's.
I won't guys say he'd give the money back. I'm sure he said he'd give him the money back. Who he bought them off. I did read that. I'm not sure how true that is, though. But
the seller said, "I'll give you the money back." So the seller himself was duped. He didn't realize he was selling bum cars.
Yeah, but I'm sure I read it that he did it. But he was not. It's the second time because didn't he buy like a rare Charizard card for millions and it turned out to be fake?
I mean, it could be. Currently, this video is as posted 3 days ago has 4 million views.
No, thank you. No, thank you. Don't like
Rolo's all of them.
I just his jawline.
Yeah,
his jawline.
Yeah,
his eyebrows.
But what's worse is you see everyone else, and we're included in that, of the people that are reacting to it, like all these additional videos that are like, reacting to what happened. Which is, God, what a weird thing, right? That people can make a living reacting to what other people are doing.
Right.
Well, that's why people are getting done on like Twitch and stuff like that, aren't they? They're watching films and reacting to
just
the
being
things
stupid.
instead of...
That's just ridiculous.
Oh, they're not reacting to them; they're just watching them.
Yeah, they're just watching the whole thing. Like,
yeah,
how stupid can you be?
They're getting cozy with blankets, getting some chips, or crisps, if you will, and just watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, just straight up. I'm like, that's just lazy content creation, in my opinion.
Well,
It is. It is.
Hey, watch me watch this film.
Did you see the complaint? I can't remember her name, but she said like she complained at Twitch because she wasn't getting paid, or because she got banned because she wasn't well because she had the coronavirus, and she got slandered for it, absolutely slaughtered for it because she was like determined to stream, but got told off.
Wait, so I must make sure I understand. So she's saying that she wasn't feeling well, so she didn't feel like streaming, so she just wanted to watch a show, and then
and stream the show. And then got Twitch.
Well, I do know what I think people often miss is that becoming a partner, I think on either Twitch or YouTube, there's a lot of restrictions that come with that, and I think Twitch is way worse in the sense that at least with YouTube you can create content, like all sorts of things. You don't just have to stream, whereas Twitch, what they do is stream. So I think you have to stream a certain amount of days, a certain amount of hours, and I'm sure it gets exhausting and whatever. I saw some people commenting like, "Oh man, what a great way to get 2 days off from streaming." Like people are just looking for ways to take breaks and whatnot. But
well, she complained at Twitch because she wasn't getting any sick pay because she was sick.
She's not an employee though.
Yeah, I would say she's an independent contractor at that point, right? Like,
because if she was an employee, you get banned as an employee. You get banned. You don't come back after 2 days.
You get suspended, right? You can get suspended from your job.
Yeah, you're done. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, honestly. Because Harris Heller did a video about it. Like, when all those paid leaks come out, I think it was like only 2% of everyone on Twitch actually makes a livable wage in America, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at those top paid people and be like, oh my god, I could do that. It's like, no. And you can see the dollar. It's like, people trying to be a professional athlete, right? You see like, oh, look at this contract they just signed and the signing bonus. It's like you realize that person is not you. And you have to accept that LeBron James is a unique person that you will not be getting paid what he's getting paid. And if you can make it in there, great. If you can actually become a part of the YouTube program and earn some income, I think that's great. That's awesome. It's a competitive place, though. You can't go in there thinking that, I saw someone actually had to unfollow them on Twitter because they were just so sad and grumpy every day about the stuff they were doing. And they're like, I posted this new short. How come no one watches my content? And personally, I watched it. this girl is playing first person shooter. She's doing really well, but all the clip is just her silently looking away from the camera with her controller playing the game. And when great things happen, she has no emotion. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to watch that. That's incredibly boring. Like, you're doing a great job. I'm proud of you, but there's no entertainment value for me personally. So if she's like, man, how come no one's watching this? I'm like, I don't know. You don't seem that entertaining. Like, you're great at the game, but I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it, right? Just not everyone can be on TV. Not everyone can be in a movie. Not everyone can be on the radio.
Not everyone can podcast. Wait a second.
Uh-oh. Shit.
Rolo.
Yeah, everyone can podcast.
I mean,
Everyone
they can.
That's fair.
I mean, let me take that back. Like, yeah, everyone can be there, but will they be successful? Will people want to watch them?
Right.
I don't know. That's. I think that's definitely debatable.
I mean, if anyone can be as entertaining as us five, then
That's always my thing. I'm always like, what am I offering that people, hopefully people will enjoy our content and what we're putting out there. And if it's just a small percentage, one of our, good folks who was on here, Mr. Tex from the Black Pants Legion, he's like, I'd rather have an audience of 1,000 people that enjoy what I do for what I do versus 1 million. He goes, because if I just have 1 million people who don't even really appreciate what I do, even if I'm earning a lot more, he goes, I don't want to do that. I want to create what I want to create, and I want to have the people that I create the stuff for really enjoy what I do. And I very much agree with that. It's really easy to look at that, even this video, be like, 4 million views. How great would that be to have 4 million views on a video? But what's the flip side of that? What's the cost that comes along with those 4 million views? Like, there's a side of that I don't even understand.
Well, I'll tell you what the payment is. It's enough to pay $3.5 million in fake Pokemon cards. So, whatever the cost is, maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
He probably, made some money back with that,
Yeah.
I know from boxing, fighting Floyd Mayweather. Well, fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he was in the ring with someone who resembled Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Floyd was just like, I'm just going to dodge. I'm just going to dodge.
Right.
I'm just going to dodge. And I'm going to
Look,
get paid.
Floyd's not
Money,
Floyd's a
money,
smart guy.
more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, there's no reason for me to throw my all into this with this punk because we're getting paid either way. So
he's like, let's draw this out. Let's make it interesting. That pay-per-view, man. Let's make them like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this much about the Pauls. Like, I don't have any
I was
interest.
late on that one.
I don't have any interest in watching them or consuming their content, but I respect their hustle. I respect the fact that they found a way to market themselves, to be relevant, to be at the top of people's minds. You hate them so much that you want to watch them. They are the perfect. They are so good at being like, I'm going to box against professionals. People are like, I'm going to tune in to watch you get your ass beat. But they train hard. They train really hard, and they put themselves in positions where they've been successful. I have to applaud that. Like, I have to do that and be like, every time they fight, I'm like, maybe this is the time where I hear they get the shit kicked out of them. Never. Has not happened. I'm like, they're obviously taking this seriously,
Yeah.
As much as go ahead.
Jake Paul fights a boxer. If he actually fights a boxer, and not like, I don't care who he's fought. Every one of those fights has been. They've talked to Max before and said, "Look, let it last a couple of rounds, and then let him knock you out, and you get a lot of money." That's how I believe it. When he actually fought, like Tommy Fury, if he'd have fought Tommy Fury, it would have lasted a round, I think. Or if he fights a proper boxer, it lasts a round. That's it. I don't care how much he trains, how good he thinks he is.
Like, these guys have been training for years, and that's all they've been doing. And these two knuckleheads on YouTube, sure, they've been training hard, and they're in incredible shape, and they've worked out and they've trained with top people. But I find it very hard to believe that in a 2-year time span you can go toe to toe with someone who's been doing it for 10 to 15 years. It's very, very hard to believe that is legitimate.
Yeah, no, I agree. Totally agree.
That's fair. And also, a lot of the guys they're fighting are MMA guys who are not
retired MMA guys.
Yeah, who are not like boxing experts. They are MMA guys. So it was like
elbows
when
and knees were involved, maybe a different story.
Yeah, if we're talking takedowns and submissions and all that sort of stuff, like I'd be like, good luck, guys. Good luck.
But to Doug's point, I will say that I do, as much as I have issue with their content and kind of at least what they used to be or what they stood for. I do begrudgingly have to give credit in that they work their fucking asses off. There's no question there. And they found their audience. There is a market for what they do, obviously, because they're some of the top YouTubers out there and have been for a while. So in that regard, I definitely got to give them credit. It's really not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Nothing they do is my cup of tea.
Agreed.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
I totally agree with it.
That being said, have you guys...
Consensus.
We have a consensus. We don't like it. We don't like the Pauls. Have any of you ever been scammed like this, or like had a situation
like that? Yeah, 3.5 million regularly.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, 2.5 million pounds. I'm sorry, I didn't do the conversion right. But like, have you had a situation where you've been like scammed, or is there something that you avoid because you think it's a scam? You're like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't know, NFTs. I don't know, just
Oh, no. I have one NFT though, by the way. I do have one.
Look at that.
NFT. But I don't know what it does or it's for. But I won it. But it's an NFT.
What did you did you do some Ocean's 11 heist to get it or something? Like, what was the quotes?
It's a gif of a shower.
No, it's...
For context, because I don't know if we were recording, that may have been pre-show, but Buzz.
That's true.
Buzz can only take baths because his bathroom is not tall enough to have a shower. So he said he doesn't get to take showers. He only takes baths. So there you go.
A friend of mine started like an NFT thing with all his friends, and it's basically a hypno wolf. That's literally it. So it's just a wolf's face with different stuff behind it, and I won it in a giveaway, and it's worth something. I think, I don't know. I haven't looked since I got it, and it just sits in this wallet that he told me to set up. And he was like, "This is how it works," and I was like, okay, yeah, all right." But it's just a picture that's worth money, apparently.
I guess, I mean, this may be the wrong. We may not have the answer here collectively, but how does that appreciate in value? Like, I still don't understand how an NFT gains value.
It goes up with the cryptocurrency you use to buy it. So if you bought an NFT with Bitcoin and Bitcoin was worth $1,000, not $43,000, if that Bitcoin went up to $16,000, your NFT is now worth $16,000.
So what is
basically
what's the benefit then in buying the NFT rather than just buying the specific cryptocurrency?
I think he described it to me as it's like getting a rare Pokemon card. You're only going to own this one of them. There's never going to be another one made.
Okay.
You're not Logan Paul, are you?
No. Basically, that's how he described it. It's like owning a rare Pokemon cards. That's why it's one of those. That's why they're going to be like everywhere, because only one of these is going to be made. You own it, so that's why it has some sort of value.
Maybe it retains that. Okay. All right. I kind of understand that. I still feel like
I still don't.
Angry.
I sound really clever, but none of that made sense when I said it.
I feel like also that a lot of people, they say there's only one of these, but people hijack that stuff all the time. They're like, I just took a screenshot of it. Now, granted, can they resell it? No, because it's not part of the blockchain and they don't technically own it. But digitally, they're like, cool. I have basically a replica of it. And I think that's the part for me is it creates fake scarcity within this. It's like, this is the only one that exists. It's like, but it's not really. It's not really the only one that exists. The only one that you can technically own. But if you're purely like, I'm in this because I want this piece of art. It's like a physical thing, right? Like, I can have this painting. I will hang it on my wall. No one else will have this painting. There could be copies and duplicates. You can take a picture of it, but it's not going to be like this original one that I have. Whereas with this is, I could take a screenshot of it, or people can just go into some of the hypertext, grab it, download it, and be like, I also have it. And people are like, hey, delete that. That's mine. And they're like, make me.
No.
And that always works on the internet.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't fully understand it, and I have no interest in it. And I just think a lot of video game companies are trying to get into NFTs too, where they're like, hey, we've got this NFT skin that will always exist. It'll always be yours. It's like, eat shit. Like, I don't. No. I won't do that. Thank you. Goodbye.
Didn't Troy Baker get into it recently?
Yeah, he did.
The voice actor. He signed like a thing with a company, and everyone got really annoyed with him.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. I know our very own Noah Reno had some things to say about that in our Discord, so it was very interesting.
Back to the question at hand.
Yes.
Have you guys ever been scammed, or what are you worried about getting scammed on?
Kind of. I've been kind of scammed, but not bad.
Not truly scammed.
No, not 2.9 million scammed. Right. It was £25 scammed. I wanted to get an Elgato to stream through my PlayStation, and instead of buying one brand new because they are expensive for what it is, I wanted to get a second hand one or a used one. So I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, and I didn't want to pay outright to this guy. I basically said, I'll give you half the money now, and when it turns up, I'll give you the rest. So I give him £25. He said he posted it. He didn't. And it never turned up, no matter how many times I complained to him and said, look, it just hasn't arrived. Have you got the receipt? Have you got any proof? And he's like, oh, no, I haven't got anything. It's like, well, I haven't got any proof you've actually sent it to me then. So I won my money back. I even had to go through my bank to try and get it back from him, but they couldn't do it. So, yeah, I was down £25. That's probably the closest I ever got. To be fair, it's not a common thing in the UK, really, or in Wales, where you get scammed that easy. And specifically having the Bank of Bambi look after most of my money, I'd never get scammed. I got no chance because she's like, why are you buying that for? I was like, I want it. Are you sure? Are you sure you want that? I was like, no, I don't want it now.
You sure you want to use your allowance on that this month, Buzz? Are you sure? Because once that's gone, I'm not filling it back up.
That is true how it is. Not to that extent, but she will, like, not as much now. When I was really bad with money, it was a lot of, you sure? Do you really need to buy that now? I was like, I want it though. Do you though? And then she'll convince me that I don't want it. I'm like, oh, and then it's her idea. So no, she makes me believe it's my idea that I don't want it. So I'm like, oh, I made a big boy decision. I'm a grown up. Yeah,
that's love. That's truly love right there. Someone who's looking out for you, trying to help you out with that stuff, challenging you in a good way. That's awesome. Thank you, Bambi, for taking care of Buzz.
Someone asked her, I'd never get up if she didn't tell me. Or
she says,
or
I'm
breathe
just sensible.
or anything. She's very sensible. Never had a credit card. Never had a loan. She's wonderful with money.
Good
me though, I'm absolutely terrible.
Yeah, well, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. By the way, Buzz, I have a really good camera. If you want, I could send it to you. Just give me your details. It's actually only 30 pounds. So, but it's better. It's better than the other one. So, just saying. Oh no.
As you say that.
Was that just a happy coincidence?
It's funny because I think his face got stuck like that, and then
he commits to the bit,
and he's like, "You know what? I'm out of here. I'm out of here."
I was listening to the audio version of this podcast. We just lost Buzz.
Yeah, Buzz kind of gave us a stink eye, froze, and then he pieced out.
Oh, dear me, that was like perfect timing.
It was. It really was. He's like, "Fuck you." Rolo, how about you, man? Anything ever happened to you?
I think it's just the idea of being scammed, like on eBay and stuff like that. So you get on eBay, you look at people's profiles, and you go, "Okay, you've got like 95%. Let's buy something from you," kind of thing. And you've got Gumtree. Have you heard of Gumtree?
No.
It's similar to eBay,
okay,
but in the UK, and you can buy stuff over it. And I was looking for a new car, and the guy was selling a car for $1,400. And I was like, 1,400 is a lot of money just to go through Gumtree. Mm-hmm. And I thought, right, I'll commit to it. But like in your bank, you can only pay so much per day. Okay. So I had to like take so much out, put it to one side. And then as the week was going on, I had to go, right, okay, I'm going to have to send him some money now. So I sent him some money and I was like, do I trust him? Can I get this car? I know where he lives. I know where the car's located. But he's still got the keys. But then he's still got some of my money, like a deposit kind of thing. So I put a deposit down. I was like, right, okay, I'll pay you this much now, and then I'll pay you so much just before it, and then when I pick the car up, I'll pay the rest of it off. Sure. And it was just my mind sort of going, can I trust him? Can I pay the rest off? Can I pay? I mean, like, long story short, it was perfectly fine. I paid him at the end of the day and got my car. But it was also one of those, it's past its MOT. It's got the insurance on it. It's perfectly fine. It's okay. But will something fail? So obviously you ask the certain questions. Have you changed oil? Have you changed cam belt? Have you changed other things? And some questions you'd be like, I don't know. And then you start investing in it before you've even paid for the car.
Right.
So it was just that initial sort of thing of, is he screwing me over?
Yeah,
and that's the closest I've come to it, really.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I think I'm so cynical that I fall into that too. Like where I'm just like I will way overthink. I don't want to get scammed, even if it's like what Buzz $25, $25. Like if it's just 20, it can be so small. But I do not want to feel like I've been taken advantage of. Regardless, I don't care what the value is, and so like I'll overthink just like that. I'm like, I trust this person. I don't know. Maybe not. I'll labor over it over and over and over again for far too long.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I say feeling stupid. So if someone, pulls one over on me, I'm like, cool, I'm an idiot. Awesome. I feel really dumb right now.
It. Yeah.
Exactly that. That.
What about you?
The closest I've come is pretty much paying for a new engine for a car and getting shoddy workmanship.
Oh.
But that's pretty much the closest. Is because of one little piece that they didn't have. There we go. He's back.
Sorry,
and he's back.
Decided to die.
It's all good.
Sorry, Val. Carry on.
Yeah. It was just one little bit that they didn't have the right size, so they forced the thing in, and my engine ended up catching on fire while I was driving.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that's the closest I've come to being scammed. Was just shoddy workmanship
and dying.
It wasn't a fun experience.
I was like, that's not the closest I've come to dying. Trust me, I've been in way more perilous situations.
I mean, she is from South Africa, so you've got to think about wildlife.
Yeah, a car catching on fire while you're driving isn't too big a deal.
It's the rhinos you got to watch for.
Right.
Oh god, yeah, they're sneaky bastards.
Always get in your bins and in your garden.
Here in the UK, you've got
popping out from behind the petunias.
I'm gonna get your garden.
Yeah, here in the UK, you've got squirrels and stuff like that, and over in Africa, you've got rhinos and lions and tigers.
Oh my!
And bears, Rolo.
Can't trust the giraffes, though. They always lie.
The who?
The giraffes.
Oh,
giraffes.
I gotcha.
I didn't know they weren't trustworthy.
No, they're sneaky. They're even sneakier than the rhinos, and they hide in trees.
Actually, if there's a lot of trees, I could see that happening. They're just sort of like, they're like me hiding. They're like,
They're shockingly good climbers.
Long legs. They just wrap them around the tree trunk and just shimmy up.
Yeah. They do seem like shits. Like we have a zoo very nearby me, and one of the things you can do is you can pay like $10 and you can feed them some stuff, which is cool. And my daughter loves doing that. But they're shits. Like they come over whenever they want. And sometimes, like, they come over, they just sort of stare at you. They're like, nah, I'm not going to eat what you want. And they just walk away. They're like, fuck you. I'll eat when I want, And they just kind of do their own thing. And I'm like, all right, I get you. I hear you. So I can imagine if they're just running wild, they're just, like, staring at you through your window in the second story, just like, hi.
What are you doing? You sleeping?
Just sitting there just chewing, just... Yeah.
Doug, is that a camera? Is that camera still available? Because Buzz might need it.
Yeah. You want a camera? That's great.
It's not my camera. I need internet. Anyone want to give me internet?
Here's the thing. I have a nice internet. I could sell to you if you'd like.
I've got a really long Cat 5 cable.
I do. Yeah. It's actually Cat 6. That's how good it is. So I'm gonna need 40 pounds for that. Actually, for the Cat 6.
It's worth it though.
It is. It is worth it.
Wire it underneath the Atlantic Ocean,
Absolutely,
all the way to my house.
Nothing bad ever happens there.
Too soon, and let's talk about the Titanic.
What about you, Justin?
Gosh, I mean, I'm sure I've had a lot of close calls and probably this and that, but the one thing that I was thinking was it's the stupidest thing, but I always, anytime I'm out to a restaurant, like a nicer restaurant, and I see something is marked market price, if there's no price, it's just MP, I'm like, you can charge me whatever you want for this, and I can't say anything about it. That's a scam. So I've never ordered, as much as I've wanted to, never ordered anything off a menu that's marked MP because I don't trust it. I don't trust restaurateurs enough.
Well, you don't follow the market prices for crab and crab legs?
Well, look, I don't follow the market as close as you do now. I know that I know that that you're a newly acquired broker. You're opening
I'm
up
a
your
broker.
house.
I'm dipping my toes into the investing world. And one of the big things I follow is Alaskan king crab prices. And let me tell you, Justin, I'll save your ass the next time we go out to eat.
Doug Jordan Belford Cochran.
Oh, geez. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm not implying anything. I'm also not implying anything.
we don't have that over here. Market price stuff on menus.
No?
we
we
don't.
don't have. No, we don't
No,
have.
exactly. Because you guys aren't trying to rip people off.
Right, because just like Buzz says, the Welsh don't screw each other over like that. You can trust every Welshman, you know?
We also don't have to give people tips, so
That's also very nice. You know, you pay people a full wage, which is the dream, you know? Is it weird? If you do tip someone, is it considered an insult?
No.
no, it's just sort of I'll give you extra.
It changed
just
the
for
law
your
recently
service.
that you don't have to, if you're given a tip, you don't have to share it. It's your tip. You don't have to share it with management or the company. It's your tip to keep. They changed it recently because a lot of people were taking it off to share it or keep themselves or share it to everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess definitely. I know some place restaurants will they'll pool their tips together and then spread them out accordingly.
There was one restaurant that I know, a guy that I knew worked in the kitchen. There was like a regular that turned up, so he used to go behind in the kitchen and talk to the chef and he knew people there. Anyway, and my mate who was in there, he's sort of like new to the role. He was washing dishes and stuff like that. And this guy went in. He went, "Oh, you're new," and got the conversation going. He went, "Yeah." He said, "Do you know what? You've done really well today because I had a great meal, and because of you did your part. Here's some money." So he gave him like 40 quid for being there. He's only been there like a few weeks.
That's awesome.
And then the chefs and stuff were like, "Keep sticking in your pocket now." And then obviously word got round, and all the waiters and waitresses all sort of like aired word, and they come out and went, "You should be sharing that money because we all worked hard. It's all our money." He was like, no. And he was like, "Yeah, you should share it because, it's £40 that'll get round to everyone."
Yeah.
And he sort of like got sort of like, what's the word? Encouraged. Peer pressured, encouraged to sort of put the money in. And he just wimped out and he spread it out. He shouldn't have, but he did.
It's like, what is this, communist Russia? Go eat shit. I earned this. It's probably a smart move, actually, if he wants to,
money.
Keep the peace. Unfortunately, it's like you got to pay the tolls.
Yeah. See, if it was me, I'd have just put it in my pocket and just.
I would have kept it.
Yeah.
Kept it.
Fuck you, it's mine.
I got given
How
it.
about
I've
this?
worked
In the
hard. You
future,
recognised it.
What if you got cut out of the tip sharing though in the future because of that? Like, would that $40 then be worth, a year's worth?
See, Justin, now you're talking my language, right? We're talking about investing.
Ah, crap! I fell into it. Damn it!
Let's talk about the delta of that decision, shall we?
Quick distraction.
Logan Paul.
Oh yeah, I working at the hotel. There was a lot of guys that would come by and try to scam, and the worst one was the guys would come by and say they needed change, and they'd be like, "Hey man, can I get change for this?" And they would do the change game, or they'd be like, "Cool, now can you give me this and this?" And they try to confuse you, so they end up walking away with more money than what they had. And I had a guy one time come forward. He's like, "Hey man," he's being really weird with his mannerisms. He sort of lightly fanned out 4 $1 bills. Was like, "Hey man, I need to get change. Can you give me a 5?" And he was leaning over and he's kind of looking down at the till. He's like, "Give me one of those nice clean 5s." I'm like, "Give me the money first." That's not how this works.
Yeah.
And I kind of pried it out of his hand. He only had 4. And he wanted to get 5 out of it. I threw it in his face. I go, "Get the fuck out of here." I was like, "Who do you think you are?"
I've been scammed then. That just reminded me something. So literally, I totally forgot about it. I used to work in a pub when I was a teenager. My first ever job, I was about 17, 18, working behind the bar. And £50 notes don't exist in the UK no more because they were so easily forged. And this guy came in and he literally ordered a pint and a packet of crisps. And he gave me the £50 note. But as I was sorting the change out, I was trying to sort out, but he was talking to me at the same time, making comments. So I got very distracted. I ended up, so long story short, I ended up giving him his £50 note back and £45 worth of change.
Oh no!
Not realizing I'd done it until they counted it all up at the end. And I'm 17 years of age now, first job. I was sat there in tears, thinking, "I'm gonna lose my job. I'm screwed." And my boss was like, "No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." I was like, "To take out my pay, take out my wage. I don't care. I just don't want to lose my job." I panicked, and apparently, he's done it to a couple of other pubs where I live. It's a thing he does. But I was so panicked because he was just such a smooth talker. He's like, "Oh, sure. You're young, working behind the bar. So how long have you been?" I was just, you get into talking because you want to be nice, and I just totally forgot. I gave him a £50 note back instead of 20s, and it's changed. So he had nearly £100 out of me, and I was just like, well, I thought nothing of it until we checked it at the end, and I was just like, "Oh no."
Well, he was smart too because he knew who to target. Like he was like, "Oh, young person,
I'm stupid.
I'm gonna plus them, and they're not used to this." And
I got something similar happen to me at the hotel where this kid, and I had all the red flags, and I didn't act on it. But this kid came by, and he's like, "I want to book, a suite for like 2 nights." And I was like, "This kid booking a suite, this is kind of weird." And he gave me a card, and when I tried to run it, it basically came back as rejected. I was like, "Sorry, man, the card doesn't work." He's like, "All right, cool. I'll call the bank." And he called the bank, and they give, it's not really how it works. Usually you have to do some behind-the-scenes shit to get, like, this code. And he handed me the phone. He's like, "I'm on the phone with the bank." And the person just gave me a code over the phone, and it was just his friend. And it didn't work. And for 2 days, this person had booked this room. We locked him out of the room and whatnot, but they had stolen a card and tried to use it to book a room. And then, I was like, I remember being like, "God damn it, all of this added up right in front of me, and I didn't act. I should have just been like, 'Sorry, I need a different card,' but I just was like, 'Okay, I think it worked,' because it looked like it had gone through, and then after 24 hours, it rejected the authentication that they had given me. And my boss was like, 'I think you just got taken for a ride.' And I was like, 'Fuck! Damn it!' Because I want to be trusting. I want to give people a reason. Like, I want to give them, benefit of the doubt, but when you see enough of that shit, you see why there's some people that are just instantly like, 'How are you trying to fuck me over, man?' I'm like, chill. Like, they've seen enough of the wrong side of humanity to just assume that everyone's trying to screw them over. And I don't want to be like that. But when you watch a pimp walk into the hotel lobby and say, 'Hey, man, I want to take a look at your hotel.' And I'm like, 'No, sir, you cannot.' It's like, 'Why not? I'm a paying customer.' Like, I can't have you just wandering around the hotel." He's like, "Let me see your pool." I'm like, "No, no, you can't. Like, just, you're going to have to leave." He's like, "I don't think so." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll call security. This is some shady shit right here." Like, I saw some weird things in those 6 years.
But it's so easy to do, though. Like Bambi will watch Facebook videos of things, and there was a guy. She showed me one, and there was a guy, and he walked into 4 different hotels. He had free breakfast, and then he had a free lunch, and then he had a shower. He managed to go, as one of the maids were cleaning the room. He went in, and he said, "Oh, have I left anything in my room? I've just checked out. Oh, can I quickly use the shower?" He didn't pay for anything all day, and he just strolled into these buildings. I was just so confident in his demeanor that they were just like, "Oh, he must be staying here because he's giving me no reason to think otherwise."
Yeah. I mean, and
that's why we don't trust people.
Yeah, like, from my experience, too, is like, the housekeepers don't know who is in there. They're not like, "Okay, is this Mr. Doug Cochran? Can I see?" They're like, "All right, cool, whatever, man, go." Like, they're there to clean the rooms. Like, they're not going to know the ins and outs of that sort of stuff. And it's always that adage, like, if you walk with enough confidence into a situation, people are going to be like, "Oh," and especially if you're like, "Hey, can I help you?" Like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be here." They're like, "Oh, I guess he's supposed to be here." Like, they'll just, most of the time they'll be like, "Okay." It's just, people generally don't want conflict. It's like that movie Fight Club, right? When he's like, your objective is to pick a fight with someone. Most people don't want to. Like, "No, man, I don't want any problems." Right. It sucks to be in a role where you have to challenge that. Someone comes up and hands me a card. I'm like, this doesn't work. And they're like, "How dare you say that?" I'm like, "It's not working. I can't. Give me something else." "So this is absurd. I don't give a shit what you're going to do." Like, I can't do it.
When I used to work at the Container Store, we had people like that. They'd walk in with super confident, and they'd bring back either product that was not ours or product that was, we probably hadn't sold that product or that version of that product in like 10 years. And they would bring it back in, and they're like, "This isn't working for me. I'd like to return it." And you're just like, "Well, no." And they're like, well, but I bought it here and this and this. And I'm like, well, do you have a receipt? I don't, but I'll take store credit. I'm like, well, no. And they would be so super confident. And you either had to explain to them that you're like, look, this has not been in stock for 10 years. We're not going to return this now. That we can't it's worked for you for 10 years. Or it's just been under your bed, in which case you should probably reevaluate how you're living. Or people, would bring stuff from like Target and they'd try to pass it off as our stuff. And we have a very specific line of stuff that we carry. We don't deviate outside of that. It's mostly the Container Store brand stuff. And then there was a few other partner retailer or partner products that we would stock. And if it wasn't one of those, then we did not sell it. And there were people who would come up and like, they were ready for an argument. Like their confidence knew no bounds, and they would sit there and just yell at you and argue. And I can't believe this. And I took I don't think anything gave me more pleasure than just being able to confidently stand there and go, no, nope, not going to happen. Let's see your manager. Gladly.
Good. Someone else's problem now.
Exactly. And you just watch her and just go, watch this. They're going to back me up. It's so fun.
There was an incident. I used to work in a supermarket, and I walked from the front of the store, and I was walking through it, and there was just a guy. He did look a bit dodgy, but he was just carrying like a box of 6 vodkas, 6 bottle of 1 litre bottles, and I thought nothing of it because he was just walking through confident, and he was sort of like, I'll pay for these, I'll see you later, I'm leaving. I probably walked about 10 yards, and I had loads of shouting behind me, and I was like, what's going on? There was like a big fight or something going on, and there wasn't. As soon as I turned around, security is shouting for help, and what had happened was basically it was a night shift. Everyone's basically gone home. There's minimal customers. And on the night shift, you start taking boxes of stuff off cages, ready to put on the shelf. So what he'd done was he just took one off the floor and walked out with it. So the security was shouting their head off and stuff like that. And I ended up turning around. He was calling me over, saying, come and help me. And he was sitting on his back, and there was a woman standing next to us. And he shouted me over. He said, just sit on his legs so he can't move. So I'm like crossing his legs over his ankles and sort of pressed it against him. No, I've crossed his legs over so his ankles, and I've just pushed them against his like small of his back. Yeah. And he can't move, and he's trying to wriggle his way through. He's doing a pretty good job. There's only 2 of us on top of him, and more people are coming over. And this woman started like reading his rights. And what had happened was, a manager from security from the warehouse come running out, sprinted down this corridor and put his knee on his head, just pressed it against the floor like that. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. There's 4 of us on top of you. He was still struggling. What had happened was, on his way out, he bumped into an off-duty police officer. Ooh. She was reading his rights on the spot. So she was saying, under law and all this kind of stuff, you can't go anywhere. And the reason why he was so strong, he was really skinny. And he was taking drugs and stuff like that.
I was like, it's PCP or some shit like that. Superhero drug, yeah.
God knows what he was taking, but he was super strong. And there was 5 of us pinning him down while this one police officer's standing there. She's not doing anything. She's just reading him his rights. I was like, couldn't she get a handcuffs or something? Or she could do something?
No, I have to get through this. Let me stay
Step 1.
And then...
That's amazing.
Yes, step 1.
Read the rights.
Read the rights. Now you've made me lose my place. I have to start over.
That's amazing.
God, that's so fun.
Yeah, I agree. Bambi said working customer service is horrible, and I stand by that. Every person, kind of like how some countries say you have to have mandatory military service. I think people need to have mandatory customer service experience. 1 year. You have to spend 1 year in customer service so that way everyone will hopefully get a little bit of empathy about what it's like to interact in that space. Yeah. And also learn that the customer is not always right. That's a 100%. Bullshit adage.
100%.
And I can't stand it because people use that to their leverage. I want to be able to talk to someone like a human being and be able to say, you're wrong about this. With all due respect, You are wrong. This line from the Container Store that you're bringing in is not part of the Container Store. It's from Target, or this doesn't carry it anymore, or I don't believe you, and it not have people go, oh, I'm going to the internet, and I'm going to burn this place down digitally. It's like, eat shit, man. Because that's the other thing, too, is the people that are in charge are like, oh, no, we got to complain online. I'm like, I don't care what you got online, because whether or not we get a good complaint or a bad complaint, this hotel is a piece of shit. And you guys run a racket here. And for how dare you come up to me and be like, you are the heart and soul of this organization. You know what Disney does? Don't you dare bring Disney to Disney. It calls all of their employees cast members. And at this pen, this is a prop. And you are on the stage. And you are here to perform. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We run a racket. We have prostitutes staying here, and I don't care. They need a place. Every prostitutes need a place to stay. My thing was like, look, just don't bring your business back to the hotel, because that's usually problematic. It's like, they're like, is that a prostitute staying here? I'm like, maybe. The signs are right. She's paying in cash day by day. Odds are, prostitute. She's not causing any trouble. Well, you need to get her out of here. I'm like, I'm not going to do that because they're paying. Don't you want the money? Don't you want the cash, Mr. Greedy General Manager? But I'm just like, I don't, you can't get me to care.
Tell Doug his feelings about the hotel.
It's funny because all this has been stirred up again. It's been dormant for so long. I haven't been there since 2012.
Not salty about it at all.
Almost 10 years ago, I left that place, and it's just the general idea that as this corporate entity, we want you to care about the bottom line. I'm like, I don't care about the bottom line because you don't care about me. Right. My day-to-day job sucks. It's the worst dealing with people. But you're just like, well, see you tomorrow. I'm like, no, fuck off. So I firmly believe if everyone had to go through something like that, had to deal with the public, they would learn that, okay, some people suck. And hopefully I won't be the person that sucks. Whenever I have a problem, I try to take into account. Every time I go to any customer service situation, I always start with a hi, hello. I try to be as kind as possible. I try to be as reasonable as possible. I try to appeal to them as a human being and not just be like, you need to. I'm like, I'm not going to say you need to. I'm like, this is a situation. It sucks. This is how I feel about it. I'd like to have some sort of resolution. What can we do? How can we work on this together? Because if I can get that initial person on my side, they're going to fight for me. If you're going to be like, hey, you little piece of shit that's answering the phone or whatever, they're going to be like, I don't give a shit. Hang up on them. I don't care. Like, I've been that person. I'm like, oops, the phone hung up. Someone else take the call. Like, I'm not going to take care of you. So, yeah.
See,
I really want to say that to someone now. Hey, you piece of shit on the phone.
You piece of shit.
What pizza do you want? You piece of shit.
I think that's the problem right there. They're saying the bottom line. I think the bottom line should be raised. Then people would give a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm too old to give a shit now, Rolo.
It's
Just don't care.
Corporate entities, they care about the money at the end of the day. And you're replaceable. I'm replaceable. And I've accepted that. And I'm like, whatever. It's my kind of more morbid adage about life is that everybody dies. We're all going to die. And none of this matters. So that actually brings me peace of mind because I'm like, I'm not going to sweat worrying about my job because at the end of the day, none of this matters. Like, if I were to die tomorrow, someone would replace me at my job. It's going to happen. Justin would easily replace me on this podcast. It would be fine. The corporation known as Mind Gap would continue on without a skip whatsoever.
As long as the bottom line is protected.
Yeah. Cha-ching. I'd say that's a pretty practical approach, don't you, Justin?
I absolutely would, and thank you for that.
You got the questions, we got the answers. All you do is ask. Practical, 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 practical. Ask Practical Doug.
I realize I do the same dance every week, and that's okay.
Look, that's your TikTok dance for Ask Practical Doug.
Yeah, I should do that.
That's the content that our thing needs.
Yes.
I think Justin uses TikTok, for him to notice that.
Yeah.
I think he uses
Justin's
TikTok.
a TikTok talent scout.
Distraction. So Practical Doug is, if you guys have never, anyone listening has never heard this before, Doug has a tiny Doug living inside of him known as Practical Doug. Practical Doug dictates most of what Doug does throughout his life because it's practical advice. And the internet gets to ask Practical Doug questions. If you'd like to ask a question, you can hashtag Ask Practical Doug on any of the social medias, join our Discord, or if you have our numbers, you can just text us. This week's Practical Doug, I'm going through, and there's one that I really feel like we should ask this one this week. You know which one it is, Doug?
No, there's too many good ones.
Man. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should we say one? You know what? I'm going to do this one because I'm curious.
You choose one.
Practical Doug. Zinni wants to know, what was your favorite TV series from the 90s and how does it hold up today? Would you rewatch it?
That is a great question. I think the show that I remember the most was Saved by the Bell. And I think that was both 80s and 90s. I think it did. Or was it both? Was it all 90s? I don't remember. Saved by the Bell.
What's the practical answer to that?
First episode was 1989, so it did happen in the 90s. So there we go. So I remember watching that show and just enjoying it. I'd watch it all the time. I thought it was great. But that show, even back then, was cheesy as hell. I mean, that show was just soaked in cheesiness, gross early 90s, late 80s sort of stuff, from the costumes to just the laugh tracks, and everything about it would just be absolutely unbearable. Bad jokes, just slap. It's a shitty show. I wouldn't watch it again. I absolutely would not watch it again. When they're like, we're making a new one, I'm like, who gives a shit? Fuck that show. Like, I don't care, man. That was great for the time, but it deserves to be where it is, which is gone at this point in time. Definitely enjoyed it for what it was, but absolutely no way would I ever bring it back
I just gotta see if I can pull this up here while you're talking.
If I could rewatch, I mean, if you forced me to watch an episode again, I bet it would be really brutal. It'd be really brutal to sit there and just just put up with it. Do you all know Saved by the Bell at all? Is this okay? Cool. Yeah. I don't want to be insensitive and be like a typical American, like, you know everything we consume, right? Right? You know what this is.
We have Nickelodeon.
Okay, cool. You have Nickelodeon. That's good.
I think the one thing that can sum up your feelings is this clip here, Doug.
I'm so excited!
Is this the one where Jesse takes like caffeine pills?
Yeah, caffeine pills essentially, and she's addicted to caffeine pills. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
And so I remember that because she has a breakdown, and Zach comes over and gives her a hug, and she's just like, ah!
Now, look, tackling a very real issue, but just done underneath the valence of just bad 80s and 90s. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Hard to take it seriously. Hard to hear the message.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, there's a practical question. Was that the way to address that topic, Doug?
I'm glad you asked. No, I think the best way to address it would be to do something like a, what's that show? Big Brother, where you watch someone by themselves in a house by themselves slowly become addicted to drugs and watch what happens.
I'd watch it.
Rolo lives in.
All they have in the house is just like drugs, and it's like
Rolo's home.
Rolo's house.
Drugs everywhere.
I've got DMT and everything.
Yes. So the answer to that question is Saved by the Bell. No good.
Not really a practical based question, but an interesting one nonetheless. Uh-oh.
Hey guys, I'm Rolo.
I needed to get up again.
Rolo just takes off his shirt and starts doing push-ups. Just
how to get banned on YouTube.
He's wiry, but he's so strong.
4 guys come in to restrain him. He just pushes him off. He's like, ah! I'm feeling good.
Rolo, you have the right to remain silent.
I mean, it's practical in the sense of like, hey, what did you like and would you watch it again? Because does it have any sort of merit? And the answer is no.
I mean, as I was looking for that, I wasn't really paying attention. Did you guys talk about what shows you grew up with and if you would watch them again?
Friends. Over and over. Like when we got nothing to watch on telly, we will just start Friends again and again, and we notice more stuff from what we watch it, like pointing stuff out. Like, oh my God, that's not even Rachel sat there. Wait, that's moved. This is not the same thing. But yeah, Friends is one of those forever things from my sort of childhood growing up, and because it went all the way into the early 2000s, I could just watch it over and over and over and over.
See, mine is I question whether they could bring it back because I liked it. Quantum Leap.
Oh, that was a good show.
It covered like all kinds of sort of scenarios and
was it a good show?
I thought it was. I thought it was a good show.
I did too at the time, but is it now?
That's questionable.
Yeah,
that's why I wondered whether it'd be good to bring it back.
I heard they're thinking about rebooting it. I saw that just the other day.
Are they?
Yeah, someone's thinking about rebooting it.
I guess there's the real practical question: are all these reboots a good thing? Because
no,
I don't know. I feel like I'm starting to get reboot fatigue. Like I'm curious about the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot, the gritty, dramatic reboot. I'm curious about it because it's a new direction to take reboots, like bend the genre that they were originally in and then reboot it. That's cool, but I don't know. SNL last night did a good parody where they mocked that by they were saying the next one to get rebooted is Family Matters, a gritty Steve Urkel reboot.
There you go.
Where he joins a gang and Carl has to pull him off the streets.
Yeah. There you go.
See, they brought the Wonder Years back as well, didn't they? They rebooted the Wonder Years.
They did, yeah.
They did.
Is that any good?
How I Met Your Father.
Yeah.
It's like.
I saw How I Met Your Father. I was like, oh, really?
I tend to steer clear of reboots as much as I can. By and large, I tend to steer clear of them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. So that's Practical Doug, everybody. On to the next segment.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
It's theme song after theme song here in my.
That's right.
Rolo, we need theme songs. Make a note, Rolo. Write this shit down. If we're going to compete, Rolo, we need to be on our game.
I know. At the beginning, I was like, these are so organized and we're
I know.
Not so organized.
You sent me all the stuff. I said, this is
they
what
think we're organized, Justin.
You are. You said this list of everything, and I was like, fucking hell. We just say, right, this is what we're going to talk about. Rolo doesn't even turn up prepared anyway. And we just sort of do it. That's like, so we need to be taking notes. I think we need to be doing small stuff like this, or close, not like copy, but like do something like this. Yeah. But
we are no role model, sir.
No, no, sir.
Very
all right.
Not.
So here we are. We've arrived at the Throwdown. If this is your first time here, this is where we pick two things that enter a ring and they fight to the death, and we decide which one we think will come out victorious. Our trusty council has come up with our combo for this week. So Justin and I just now have gazed upon what we're going to be dealing with here. And so this week's Throwdown is going to be Peacemaker from Suicide Squad versus the comedian from Watchmen. How familiar is everyone with these two characters? I'm seeing a lot of confidence over there.
Not a
awesome.
No, I haven't. No, honestly, not a clue.
I saw the original Suicide Squad. I didn't bother with the next one.
Yeah, so Peacemaker wasn't in the original one. The second one, the James Gunn one, is actually really good.
It's worth it. Yeah,
highly, highly recommended.
As far as I'm concerned, there was no first Suicide Squad. There was
the one with Will Smith is just.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Cool. We found the guy, Justin. We found the guy that liked it.
You're the one who watched it.
Hey,
and I'd watch it again.
You shut your mouth. You do not give them
on repeat.
You do not give them the views, sir.
I'm the one giving them the money.
Oh, there it is. All right, so Peacemaker's from the most recent Suicide Squad. Are you guys familiar with the comedian from The Watchmen, from the comics or the show? All right, cool.
I've seen the film.
Okay. So
I can't remember.
The Peacemaker actually has his own TV show out now.
Just launched on HBO Max. Yeah.
I watched the first few minutes of it last night before I fell asleep.
That's a resounding, review of the show. Fell asleep to it within the first few minutes. All right, so we'll break them down. I'm more familiar with comedian from The Watchmen than I am with Peacemaker. So
and I'll grab Peacemaker.
All right, I'll start with the comedian. So the comedian, that's his name. He's also known as Edward Morgan Blake. He was in the comic as well as the movie, and he, which is interesting because they say his powers and skills, he's peak physicality, marksmanship, weapon expertise, martial arts expertise, and a master assassin, which I don't recall too much from the source material. I do know that he was pretty heartless about how he went about some things.
Sounds like me.
His hobby is engaging in conflict and smoking cigars. Those are his hobbies. His goal is to live out his own version of the American dream, continue killing with government permission, which is what he likes to do. There's a specific shot in the movie where in this universe, the U.S. actually wins Vietnam, the war, and he's part of that. He's just like lighting people on fire, smiling, smoking a cigar. He's a pretty heartless dude. His crimes are mass murder, assault, attempted rape, assassination, incrimination. Okay.
I would say cryptocurrency then. That's his
Crypto
crime.
theft.
NTFs.
And
Independent of NTFs.
psychological abuse, and he's a nihilistic vigilante. That's kind of who he is in a nutshell. So, Justin, tell us about Peacemaker.
All right. Well, the Peacemaker's from the DC universe. His powers and skills, he's also peak human condition. He's an expert marksman, martial artist, brute strength, durability, intelligence, and indomitable will. In the TV show, there was someone who, in an exposition dump, said that he's been trained, lethally trained with every weapon known to man, I think. So he can use pretty much anything that's put in front of him lethally. His hobbies are bragging and keeping the peace. And sorry. All right, goals. Goals. He wants to ensure peace at all costs. Keeps any evidence of incrimination against Amanda Waller from reaching the public eye or falling into the hands of his teammates. So to gain his pardon. Crimes, mass murder, keeping the peace, mass murder, assault, conspiracy, psychological abuse, mutilation, stalking, and burglary. But again, all
Keeping
while
the
keeping
peace.
the peace. I can't stress that enough.
Like bragging.
Yes. He's a delusional vigilante. That's the type of villain he is.
So, my initial thoughts here are Peacemaker has the leg up on this because while the comedian is, he's in good physical shape. He's a marksman. He has weapon expertise and martial arts and things like that. I don't think he has the skills that Peacemaker has. Like in the movie, you watch as like he and I forget who Idris Elba's character plays, but Bloodsport. The two of them are just like showing off like what they're doing, what they're capable of doing, and it's like ridiculous. Like no look shots, kill, things like that. You don't see that from the comedian at all. I mean, he's capable of being a real bastard. But I would think if the Peacemaker saw him, I think really the big thing about Peacemaker is his indomitable will. Like his willpower and his mindset of I will do whatever it takes. Once he sets his mind to it, he cannot absolutely be broken from it. Whereas I think the comedian being a nihilist, and just sort of like life is a joke or whatever. I think the two of them, the banter between the two of them would be amazing. Because I just imagine the Peacemaker just coming in bragging, the comedian not giving a shit about anything, just being like, "Oh, look at this guy," and I think it would easily progress to blows, and I think the Peacemaker would ultimately be so fully equipped to take whatever the comedian throws at him. That's my initial.
What about you guys? And
I love them both. But I don't like DC in general. To be fair, but I'll probably go Peacemaker because I like John Cena as a person in general.
Okay,
he's just such a beautiful man.
It's true.
But I like the sound of the comedian. I feel like if I was to be a superhero, that would be my name.
Yeah,
but not as bad as he is. I don't think I'm just too lazy to do any of that stuff you mentioned. So
yeah, that's probably me. That's probably me.
Yeah, Rolo could be one, but I'd probably go. I'd side with Peacemaker mainly because of John Cena.
That seems fair.
Perfect.
A good choice.
Yeah. Rolo?
I'd pick the comedian.
Okay.
Just
now why?
Well, laziness really.
All right. So lethargy is a big bonus for you when picking someone who's going to go into a ring and do battle to the death. You want someone who's lethargic.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good choice. Let me tell you about an investment after this, Rolo, that I think you'll be really great. All right.
Okay.
Send me a little bit of money and I'll put it to good use. Okay. It's really good. All right. Val, what about you?
Pretty much Peacemaker as well. Same reasons as Buzz.
Yeah.
Because I don't really pay attention to DC, so he looks amusing, so I'll choose him.
Yeah.
His helmet looks really weird for a
Yes.
choice of helmet.
He is. Yeah.
And one of the things
And
in the
he
show too is
does
that
have an eagle.
He does have an eagle. Yes.
Eagly. Which
What?
his
Eagly.
name is Eagly. the
What
eagle.
a lazy name.
Yeah, right. That's just people in the boardroom going, I don't know, throw a dart at the board. What do you got?
Eagly.
Eagly. But in
Not Ted
it
Lasso,
was
you know.
alluded to, we haven't seen it, but in the series it was alluded to that there are different types of helmets that can do different things for him. So one could be a force field, one could be IED, a bunch of different stuff, whatever. But they can do things. He's got special powers in his helmet, in his toilet helmet.
So if he's like getting up in
As
the
have I.
morning and he goes, let's protect people today. Let's put the helmet on instead.
Let's not mass murder everyone today.
Helmet, yeah. So it
I'm
sounds
running out of
like,
countries.
it sounds like we've got a pretty general consensus here, save for one person who has a dissenting opinion. But we're gonna go
Some of my favorite things about this too is his aliases for Peacemaker. Is Pissmaker, guy with the toilet seat on, douchebag, racist superhero, Nancy boy, piece of shit, evil supervillain, dick vampire, and fucking dick. Those are his aliases.
Dick vampire.
I love it. So good. Thank you, Buzz. Thank you, Rolo. Thank you, Val, for hanging out with us today. This has been an absolute delight. So much fun having you on. This is the part of the show where we basically just dole out recommendations. If there's anything you've been reading, watching, listening to, anything like that you think our listeners should check out, now's the time to be like, yo, you should check this thing out. So I will turn it over to Rolo. Looks like he's got something. So Rolo, we'll start with you.
No.
Cool.
I was watching The Hobbit. I watched The Hobbit over the weekend.
Yeah? What'd you
I thought
think?
it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. I as a trilogy, it's not great, but I really did enjoy the first one and the second one. The third one's like, definitely not super great, but I don't know. It's fine. It's an enjoyable trilogy, you know.
I come prepared.
You came up with something really quick.
That's why I'm laughing because no,
I don't. But then you came up with something like real quick. It was really well done.
This film has been out for forever. Yeah, watch it. So everyone's probably seen it, but everyone watch that.
Oh, hey, we dig out old stuff all the
I saw
time.
The Sixth Sense. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but
Pretty
This is
good.
why I love Rolo on the show because, like, he takes like some of the stories he says. He takes so long to get to the end. It's just enjoyable watching him get it. And like when you ask him something, like we did conspiracies last time we did the podcast, and I said, Rolo, have you got a conspiracy? And he said, you know, in Disney, this character is also in this film as well. And I was like, is that your conspiracy? No, I haven't got one, but I just wanted to say that. I was like, oh, just Rolo.
Just more of an observation.
It just makes me laugh.
It was the pink elephant that was in Monsters Inc. as well as Inside Out. There you go.
It just makes me laugh.
There you
That
go.
he comes with, like when we used to record them and we did conspiracies. He came with so much information. It was brilliant. And then since then, he just comes now, and we gotta get through it.
Woo!
That's laid off a bit. You see this?
Val, what about you? What would you recommend for folks?
Well, at the moment, I'm watching the Spanish series Money Heist,
Ooh.
and I do recommend it. It was recommended to me to watch, and I recommend others. It is actually really good.
Where can people watch that?
It is on Netflix.
Netflix. The Money Heist?
Money Heist, yeah.
Money Heist. Okay. Cool. I like it. Buzz, how about you?
I don't read, so
Read. You watch stuff.
Books are boring. I don't watch anything unless it's on YouTube. So I watch films. We watched Sing 2 today, which was very enjoyable. So if it's in the cinemas, go watch it. It's very enjoyable. Anything Marvel related, just watch all that.
I'm desperately trying to avoid Sing 2 with my daughter. She keeps seeing it like on the Apple Movies pages. I'm like, nope.
You guys watched the first one until it was burned into your TV,
I
right?
did not like. I don't like rooting for a character who's not really a good guy. He's a fucking villain. It's a guy who doesn't pay his dues. He swindles people out of shit all the time. He lies to people, and yet we're supposed to root for this little fucking koala. Eat shit. No, he's a villain.
Definitely like the second one, then.
No, I probably won't.
Because he does that a lot.
Great. So good to know he hasn't learned his fucking lesson. That's awesome. Teach my daughter like
ask
that.
Bambi. Bambi will tell you any show you want to know on Netflix, and she'll highly recommend because she watches everything. She watches so much TV. I watch YouTube constantly. So, if you want to watch a YouTuber, Raptor's a pretty good one. He plays a lot of RTS games.
Okay.
And like stuff like that. It's really fun.
Nice. Very cool. Justin, what do you got?
It's an older movie, but we just watched Brave last night for the first time. We've never seen the Pixar film Brave, and we were like, let's put it on, and really enjoyable. I liked it a lot. To that end, though, I will still say that right now I am head over heels for Encanto. I think
brilliant.
If you have not seen it, you got to see it. It is at the moment, it's a fluctuating list, but at the moment, I think it might be my favorite Disney movie. So go watch Encanto.
Agreed.
Doug, what do you got?
I was absolutely exhausted Friday night, and I was like, I need to go to bed early. And then I laid in bed, and I was like, you know what? Let me just find something real quick to watch. I ended up watching a 2.5-hour movie by Ridley Scott called The Last Duel on HBO Max.
Yes.
And
the one that you were so butthurt about that no one saw.
Yes. And I have to say, awesome film.
Really?
Really good. If you like Ridley Scott, and I'd say the closest I could kind of like compare it to is like Gladiator in a lot of ways.
Okay.
So well done in sense of like, it's the way it's told, I think, is what makes it. It's told in 3 chapters. And the concept of the film is that there are 2 noblemen in France in the late 1300s, and they're friends, and then there's a quarrel, and ultimately there's a sexual assault with one of their wives, and it's like, how is this handled? And each one of them tells, you see that from their side of the story, and each story you get a little bit more information, but what I love about it is as they each tell their story, you kind of see little tweaks, little things here and there that are like a little different, and then you get to see from the woman's perspective what happens, and it's kind of heavy, so just know that going in. It's not a real pick-me-up kind of a movie, but it's very well shot. It's Matt Damon and Adam Driver, Ben Affleck, like it's good, man. It's a really good movie. It's on HBO Max right now. I highly recommend it. So
it's also on Amazon Prime, I think.
Probably.
In the UK.
Yeah, I'm gonna take your word for it.
That's what I saw that as well. It was really good.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Speaking of films, though, so an old one, The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
That's also a guilty pleasure of mine because
it's a fantastic.
Loved it when it came out, and as I've gotten older, I look back, I'm like, oh. So white guy Tom Cruise is going to try and save these Japanese folks. You got it, you know?
We put on the other night, and I forgot how much of a good film it was.
Yeah.
Or We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. That's another really good one.
I like that one, too. And also, another guilty pleasure of mine, The Patriot with Mel Gibson. That one is real.
Saving Private Ryan.
The Patriot. I watched that one. I'm always just like, whew, oh, boy.
When I want to be America.
Yeah, right? That one is just full of all sorts of stuff. I'm like, it's a, I want to laugh a little bit while I watch this action movie. So,
Justin, can I ask something? What do you think? Do you still recommend Ted Lasso?
Oh yeah,
it's come over to the UK now, so I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you haven't? Oh
no,
buddy, hit me up as soon as you're done with it. You let me know what you think.
Awesome.
For everyone in the UK, apparently you guys just got this. Watch Ted Lasso.
Get ready.
Get ready. Actually, let's take conservatively the next 2 hours and let's do another podcast and just talk about that. Okay.
Everyone wipe the sweat off your butts. We're getting into
it. Podcast, and we'll watch it and talk about it. We can't get in trouble because it's not on Twitter.
That's right. We'll be totally cool. No problem there at all.
Can I also ask you to go and watch Afterlife as well? Because Doug, I know I read it. I watched you. You're like, I'm not watching Afterlife. I'm not going to do it. And then you watched it.
Oh, no, the Gervais one?
Yeah, no, not that one. The Ghostbusters one.
Oh, yeah. It's good. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
That's the newest. That's the
newest
yes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's on my list for sure. I definitely want to see that. Yeah.
Please go watch it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good. I like it for sure. All right. Once again, thank you to Buzz, Rolo, and Val for coming and hanging out with us. And please be sure to check out their podcast, What the Funk, on all and anywhere you can find podcasts and all that good stuff. Check them out on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel. Like their stuff. They put out shorts and clips and stuff like that. Please go support them. They're good at what they do. And we appreciate them.
Are we?
Being there. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I had a really good time being on your show. So absolutely. I highly recommend it. So please go do that. Also, please don't forget to follow MindGap on all social medias at MindGap Podcast. Please check us out on our YouTube channel as well. Like and subscribe. We typically live stream on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central for the podcast and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Next Saturday, we're doing a What the Dub stream with the fellas from the Reviewniverse / the Stream Universe. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So come check us out for that. And also, don't forget to follow Justin online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Samsung's Listen thing, whatever the fuck. Anywhere where you can find and consume podcasts, you'll find and consume us. Go ahead, write a review, share us around, subscribe to us, those things. The big one for us is sharing. If you can just copy the link and share it out to your social network, it means a lot, and it goes a long way. And then 2east8th.com/mindgap, and then keep an eye on all of 2 East 8th stuff. Again, February 1st is the slated premiere for our latest short film called The Life and Debt of a Liberal Arts Major. So keep an eye on where you can watch that and some more cool stuff around it.
Yeah. So to Buzz, Rolo, and Val, I want to say thank you again for being here with us. And
It was fun.
yay! And Justin, I say thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week. And that's the show! Yay! We did it. Bambi, thanks so much for hanging out with us, too. I completely I agree with you. The Witcher on Netflix is awesome. And Hawkeye was okay. I wanted it to be better. And it ramped up, and then I felt like the final episode kind of let me down a little bit. But it's still good. It's still worth a watch. I recommend it.
No, that last little bit of Hawkeye got me.
Yeah.
When he gave her the watch.
Yeah. You're like...
I was fangirling like crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's. I think I appreciate what they're setting up here. I feel like they're on the cusp, but they're doing a really good job of sort of putting some pieces in place to kind of go on another run. So it should be pretty exciting to see what comes up next, which will be really, really cool. So
Spider-Man was really good.
I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately.
I loved it.
I haven't seen it yet.
A bunch of
watching the.
Yeah, I couldn't. There's too many people that were getting COVID, and my wife was like, "Why would we go to the theater? That's just a terrible idea. With everything that's going on, I really wanted to go over Christmas break so bad, but I'm like, you're right." She appealed to Practical Doug. I'm like, you're right. We'll just wait. Until we can get it or whatever. I'll just buy it as soon as it's available to be purchased. But I'm really looking forward to watching that. So, which will be good.
Yeah.
So
it was good. I enjoyed it. I cried.
Well, good for you.
I did cry. I won't deny it.
No, you shouldn't. You should be very
It's
proud.
the second Marvel film to make me cry.
Nice. What was the first?
Endgame.
Yeah, me too. Endgame got me too. Right here.
I think everyone cried at Endgames.
I'm still not ready for you.
I was quite okay that Iron Man snuffed it. So.
Whoa! Spoilers, Rolo. Jesus.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we will see you all possibly Tuesday. We'll see if I stream any games then, but if not then, we'll see you on Saturday for the What the Dub stream. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe, and adios.